QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Yo, what's cracking, Panther Nation? What's good? It's your boy Rashad, one half of the Panther Nation podcast. And I'm here, unfortunately, to talk about the latest news breaking regarding Shaq Thompson. If you haven't heard, according to Ian Rappaport, Shaq is now done for the season. That makes back-to-back seasons where he is going to miss the majority of the season due to injury, this time due to an Achilles injury. And Achilles, bro, that's a tough injury to come back from. It's tough, man. I saw him get injured yesterday at the game, and when you watch the game, it's so much going on. You kind of forget there's so much to look at. And I wasn't necessarily tracking, what happened with Shaq. I saw him go on the cart, go back. But you could tell that it wasn't good when he went down. You could just tell, like you could tell he's grabbing this. They do this kind of thing when they go down. And so you could tell it wasn't good. And unfortunately, Shaq, he's the leader of this team on that defensive side. And now we're down two leaders of our defense, two of the best players on the defense. Shaq Thompson out for the season. Prior to that, Derek Brown gone for the season. Bro, like, it's how much more can Panther Nation take, man? Before we dive into this any further, though, I want to make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, notification bell, get in the comments, all that stuff, man. We are just under 100 subscribers away from 23,000. So hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I would greatly appreciate that. But yeah, man, it's ugly out here for Shaq Thompson and his defense. The defense is trying its best. I know Evero is under a lot of scrutiny right now. A lot of people kind of targeting Evero with the lack of, the defensive play, the tackling, all that stuff. Just it seems like our focus is shifted away from criticizing the offense to now being critical of the defense. And it's tough, when you're missing guys like Derek Brown, and it's tough when you're missing guys like Shaq Thompson now. And so, yeah, it's tough, man. Shout out to A-Cash with a super chat. He says, back-to-back season-ending injuries. Last year of his contract, I don't want to say it. Could yesterday be the last time we see Shaq Thompson as a Panther? I mean, that's part of the discussion, right? It's part of the discussion, man. There's a reason why we drafted Trevin Wallace. Trevin Wallace is a guy we expected to step up and potentially be the next guy. He's been practicing well. He's been playing well in the preseason training camp. He's been looking good. Got some looks yesterday. Got a chance to play in lieu of Shaq Thompson getting injured. And so unfortunately, these guys that we drafted, and even going back into the class, we talked about how this is a class where we need to wait and see. Well, unfortunately, due to injuries, we've got to see a little bit quicker, right? Even going back to Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen goes down. So now we have to take a look at Xavier Legette. Had a great game yesterday. He's been playing well, so that's not a bad thing. Ian Thomas and Tommy Tremble go down. So now we got to see Jatavion Sanders sooner than what we wanted to see him. Now Shaq Thompson goes down, and we got to throw him in there. You know what I mean? So we got to throw Trevin Wallace in there. So it's a thing, right? So all these guys that we were quote unquote wait and see guys, is it a bad thing we get to see these guys a little bit earlier, a little bit sooner? Maybe not. But we got to be cognizant and okay with watching them develop. We can't just be, oh man, Trevin sucks. He's a bust. Because some of y'all will do that. Y'all will call Trevin a bust. He misses a tackle. Oh, he's a bust now. Like, again, you got to keep in mind that he wasn't necessarily supposed to see the field this soon, right? You're supposed to play behind Shaq Thompson, excuse me. You're supposed to play behind Josie Jewell and those guys. You know what I mean? So now that he's thrown to the wolves, so to speak, he's going to have to sink or swim. Hopefully he swims, but we got to be okay with dealing with him struggling a little bit if he does. Now, I want to bring this up because I see this in the chat too, and I got to wonder because Shaq was also vocal, right, on this turf situation. I don't want to be I hate to go down this road. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. I don't want to. I'm not a doctor. I don't want to go and talk about the turf. But Shaq was very vocal about how the turf was a bit of an issue. You know what I mean? He talked about how he wants to play on the grass, and he was pretty vocal. He's one of the players that was really vocal about it. And I don't know. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a turf scientist. I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I got the answers. Um, but you gotta wonder. You gotta wonder all these injuries that we're dealing with, man. Having to deal with that turf. It's Achilles injury, so that's lower leg, lower body. Um, you gotta wonder. We just gotta wonder, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't have the answers. You just gotta wonder if the turf does kind of attribute to some of these things. If there was natural grass, would it be different? You just gotta. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. But again, if you're just watching, you're just joining us, man. Shaq Thompson um, is injured, is going to miss the rest of the season. This is an Achilles injury. So this is not like an ACL or anything like that where he can just bounce back from. He's going to be out for a while. He's going to have to recover. And as stated, as Akash stated in super chat, the final year of his deal, you got to wonder if that's going to be it. If that's going to be it for Shaq. I think Shaq, the type of guy he is, man, I don't see him going out like that. I think he wants to retire a Panther, but at this point, he has basically no leverage with the Carolina Panthers due to his injury history. So, be that as it may, the Panthers, I know you shouldn't look at it like this, but the Panthers are going to have all the cards. They're all the negotiating powers on their side when it comes to potentially signing a Shaq Thompson. You know what I mean? And it sucks. It sucks, man. It sucks. Shout out to Max. He says, soon to be doctor, man. Congratulations on that. Soon to be doc. Yes, turf has a huge influence on these ACL and Achilles injuries. Shout out to Max. I listen to Max. He's a doctor. I'm not, or soon to be doctor. And there's studies out there. I just haven't read them. I don't have enough data at the time of me going live to back that. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying that I personally don't have enough data to co-sign that that's a thing. But shout out to Max who says that it does attribute to it. So um but yeah, man, it's unfortunate. Trevin Wallace, you got Claude Sherlis, those guys have to step up. Two young interior linebackers, hopefully, are the future, but they're getting thrown in maybe before they're ready. And that's just something we're gonna have to deal with. That's something Ero's gonna have to deal with. And I know a lot of people are critical of him right now, but you gotta understand the circumstances he was dealt with. A lot of the money, that we took went into the offensive line, right? The offensive line took a lot of resources, taking away from the pass rushers that we can. We can't have it both ways. Again, I know it's a common thing we throw around. The cap doesn't exist. If the cap doesn't exist, we could sign all the pass rushers we want and have the elite offensive line. Doesn't work like that. There's things in place that will prevent teams from just stacking up like that. So I mean, we shifted resources from the defense to the offense. It's a reason why we didn't re-sign Brian Burns. We went out and got Clowney, things like that. You know what I mean? So, um, we had to shift some resources, and Evero has had to. He's gonna have to coach his way out of it, basically. And I know he wish he had another pass rusher. I know there's some guys, DJ Wanham, those guys getting ready to come back. There are some guys. Help is on the way. Hopefully, help is on the way. So we'll see. We'll see. Knucklehead K says technically for a little while both of our middle linebackers got hurt within a few snaps of each other. I don't know if Jewel came back in the game or not. I never really paid attention. Wallace and Sherlis ended up both playing. Yeah, I think Jewel did come back, but yes, you're right. Both of them were down. That appreciate that super chat, Knucklehead K. But yeah, man. Yeah. So next man up, man. That's all we can hope for, and that's all we can, you know. There's it's good and bad to this, right? The good news is that we get to see our young guys. We get to see our young guys cook for a little bit. The bad news is, defensive leaders. It's not just that he has to go in, and I'm talking about Trevin Wallace. It's not just that he has to go and replace Shaq. The calls. He's the middle linebacker. He's the Mike. The calls are coming to him. He has to relay all this information to the rest of the defensive players. They've got to get on the same page. So even missing guys like Derek Brown, I'm sure there was communication things that Derek Brown did on the front line to make sure guys are in the right spot. So this is a big deal. This is not, this is not just a guy replacing a middle linebacker. Yeah, like, there's a ripple effect to this. You know what I mean? I have not heard anything about Sam Franklin, Landon. I have not heard anything about Sam Franklin at all. The game guy says, I recently tore my Achilles. As soon as they heal, I was like, as soon as they heal, I was like, damn, Achilles. Yeah, man. Uh y- the Achilles is no joke, bro. Achilles is no joke. That's not one you just bounce back from. Are you gonna be the same afterwards? It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, Jewel may do it. I don't know. Jewel may have the play calling dudes. You may be right. I thought Shaq would have done it. Um, I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that. Maybe Jewel does have it. But yeah, it ain't good, bro. It ain't good for Shaq Thompson. Um, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. And we'll have to again roll with the punches here. But um, you know, defensively we gotta step it up. We're gonna have to step it up. Next man up. It is what it is. Um, and I don't know. Moving forward, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. As soon as things happen, we like to question whether a guy's gonna be back with us or not. I don't think this is the right time for that, man. Shaq is a guy that's been around for a long time. I think Shaq he deserves the right to kind of dictate his future, whether he wants to come back with us or whether he wants to leave. You know what I mean? I think he'll come back potentially on a team friendly deal if he wants to. The talent is there. That I know he's getting older, but he was playing good football. Shaq was not a liability out there. Sure, he missed a couple tackles every now and then, but that happens. Everybody misses tackles. You know what I mean? Um, it's a great question. Robert says, "How many practice squad players or linebackers do we have on the practice squad?" It's a great question. I can answer that in 1 second. Let me see here. It said, "Look at Shaq's IG story." What does Shaq say? What does the IG story say? Somebody give me the cliff notes. I'm on stream, bro. I can't look at it. Um, how many linebackers do we have on injured reserve? No, that's injured reserve. Let's see. Practice squad. Let's see. We've got Chandler Wooten. So Chandler Wooten's on the practice squad, and that's really it. Chandler Wooten. That's really it. That's the only linebacker we have on the practice squad. If you talk about outside linebackers, you still got Amari Barno and DJ Wanham, but they don't play inside, so that's different. On the roster, I mean, we talked about still got Josie Jewell. Um, you got John Radigan, who also knows the system a little bit too. Trevin Wallace, Claude and Sherlis. So yeah, it's gonna be next man up. Shaq said he might retire. Yeah, bro. I mean, it's frustrating, but you can't. He's emotional right now. Yeah, I mean, he's a little emotional. So he take everything you hear right now with a grain of salt. You would be emotional too if this was your second back-to-back season ending injury, bro. Like so, of course he's gonna be emotional. You gotta let him get that frustration out, and let him regroup and see what happens, man. But yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I get it, and I'm not saying he's TD by any means. I don't it's TD for what he did was superhuman. 3 ACL tears, like that's different. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying he's gonna bounce back from that, but he can. I'm certain that Shaq Thompson has already, kind of reached out, or Thomas Davis hasn't already reached out to say, hey, bro, you can, you know what I mean? Oh, he said he's not retiring. My bad. He's not retiring. Okay, my bad. Not retiring. He said he'll be back. Good, good. Yeah, I think he'll be back. Good, good. Thanks for clearing that up. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, he shouldn't retire. He should retire. And I'm sure again he has that precedent with Thomas Davis. Thomas Davis, went through very similar injuries. Not similar, but the injuries, right? Three back to back tears and just bounced back. And eventually he stuck. I'm not saying Shaq is going to do that. But I think Shaq will be back, man. Shaq will be back. I think it'll happen on a team friendly deal, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Shout out to Metro 803, man. Was out there with me yesterday at the game, bro. Good times. But yeah, man. I mean, that's really all I got. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks. It sucks. It really sucks. I don't know anything about the Panthers and the Chiefs going for Buda Baker. I have no idea. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard about that. Yep, and Luke's situation is different, man. That's brain injury stuff, bro. That's different. That's different from Achilles and brain. You can't play with the brain, bro. So if this was like concussions, I would understand, but you know what I mean. Achilles is a little bit different. But yeah, man, I'm not. I see a couple other questions. I don't want to. I don't want to conflate this stream to talk about too many other topics because we got our normal show tomorrow. Remember, if you're new here, we go live every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So I know there's some other topics we can talk about, but I'm not going to get into those because this is dedicated to Shaq Thompson and his injury. Again, it's next man up. You got Trevin Wallace, you got Cloud and Sherrillis, Josie Jewell still in the building. So we got to step it up. Again, those young guys are going to get an opportunity to show up. So it is what it is. Um, we got other injuries. Tuttle's injured. Derrick Brown. The defense is getting decimated. Knock on wood. Luckily everything stays good with JC because JC hasn't been injured. That's a positive. If we're gonna look at any positives in this, man, we got some guys. Yeah, yeah. It for sure. Canales did say that Wallace led the defense, stepped up as a yeah, he did for sure. For sure. You know what I mean? Jewel came back, I believe. Josie came back, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah. We've been doing this next man up thing for 4 weeks. I'm scared we're gonna run out of bodies at this rate by the bye week. Yeah, a bye in week 4, week 5 would have been great right now. It would have been great. An early bye would have been awesome. Unfortunately, that's not the hand we were dealt. But anyway, um, really, that's all I got, man. It's just unfortunate. I did want to go because I did see the news and I wanted to, pop out real quick and just kind of give my thoughts on it. Not nothing too crazy, you know what I mean? It's just next man up, and I'm sure that's what Canales is telling the guys. It's an opportunity for somebody. You know what I mean? It sucks for one guy, but it's an opportunity for another guy to step up. And Trevin is probably the ideal person for that. He's kind of was drafted to be that guy after Shaq Thompson anyway. So now it is what it is. He gets to get there a little bit sooner rather than later. Aiden says, "I hope the injuries on defense don't jeopardize Evero's job security." Yeah, I don't think that's the case. A lot of people are critical of Evero right now. Defense, is giving up a lot of points and it's missed tackles and things like that. And so yeah, Evero's getting. I see it out there. People are questioning Evero, but you got to understand it's a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Pass rush. I think we only had like 5 pressures yesterday. Not ideal. It's not ideal. So we've got to figure it out. We've got to figure it out. Got to figure it out. AJ says, "Can we not act like losing is a bad thing for us? Can we not act like losing is a bad thing for us?" I mean, it's all about your perspective, AJ. It's all about perspective, bro. All about perspective. AJ said, yeah, he said clear bad contracts and get high picks. Yeah. I mean, in theory, but you gotta once you get those high picks, you definitely gotta knock them out the park. And I'd say this draft class is okay. This draft class has been all right so far. 40 is Charles Harris. Charles Harris is the guy we just recently picked up not too long ago. I think from the Lions. But with that said, man, I'm not gonna hang out here too long, man. I just wanted to get up here talk about Shaq real quick, and I hope the best for Shaq. He can fully recover. Like I said, he was playing good football. He was back in his, you know, back in his groove, and unfortunately, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. And now he's gonna be out for the season. He's got to sit out for a while and rehab, and hopefully he'll be back, man. But again, with that said, man, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, get in the comments, all that stuff, man. I'm getting out of here. I will see y'all tomorrow. If nothing else too crazy happens, I'll see y'all tomorrow. But prayers for Shaq and next man up, Trevor Wallace. We'll see what we got. Peace.